Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I have with us today Elijah, Max, and Jason. How's it going, guys?
What up?
Hey,
Hey, and for everybody out there, international-wise, we are an hour early, so we probably may not get people in the chat. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've jumped back an hour early for the summer, so it's all kicking in now. We had to wake up an hour earlier, which was like, ooh, rough. How's your week been? How you been, Elijah? It's been a while since you've been on. You've been doing some other things. So.
Yeah, jumping around and slightly busy and slightly trying to take care of some personal stuff and
Cool.
waiting on details. I keep missing the punk rock museum. I'm trying to get my miniatures in there and they keep
Oh, cool.
pushing the date. They keep pushing and pushing.
Ah, really?
So it's supposed to go on the 10th. They were supposed to open 2 days ago on the 10th, and
Right.
now they're pushing it again and they say April 1st, but
And that's in
I
Las
don't know.
Vegas, right?
It's in
how
Las
very
Vegas.
punk rock of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm like that
For
was
sure.
one of my comments. Like punk rockers thinking they can do whatever they want and keep
Right.
changing the
They
date.
got no schedule, dude. It's not
Yeah,
punk.
like oh whatever, doesn't matter because it's been basically 3 times now they've kind of changed.
Oh, wow.
Well, 2 times and one like scheduling thing personally for me that like got messed up. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so hopefully it's April 1st, but I'm doubting that because from the posts that I've seen like online and then getting ready, the building's done. It looks like inside, but like they still don't have like the
Oh, really?
the artwork, the items, the memorabilia. That's not. It doesn't look like nothing's in place yet. So it looks like they still have a
Right.
ways of load-in stuff to go.
Hey, Anchorman.
So we'll see. But yeah, I've been trying to keep myself busy with a bunch of other stuff.
Right. Jason, what you been up to? Anything much?
Drink a kelp shake.
Some SpongeBob. It's one of the items at the Krusty Burger, or not
Oh,
the
is that
Krusty
it?
Burger, the Krabby,
Oh, okay.
Krabby Patty.
whatever, Krabby Patty.
Max knows that one.
Krusty Burger. You're getting your properties mixed up.
What you been up to, Jason? Anything much? Doing more drawing?
Yeah, just doing the daily drawings.
Uh huh.
Been
That's cool.
keeping going strong on that.
Very
Haven't
cool.
missed a day yet this year.
Cool.
I'm
Awesome.
gonna keep
That's crazy.
going.
That's cool.
Max.
If you look at the
Yeah.
overall stuff, you can see all like the trends of what I fall into in and out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like one thing for a while, and then it changes to another thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how
That's cool.
I guess my mind works. I guess.
Uh huh. What about you, Max? Any more autographs? Anything cool?
What did I do? No, I was working this week.
Okay.
Nah, pretty quiet week for me.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I ended up by going into work this morning to pick up a check that was been waiting on, and one of the guys there ended up by going across, which is to EcoSets, which is across the away area there. Now, just to put it into context for people out there, EcoSets is where they take old set pieces and people pay to actually get offload their stuff, but then EcoSets turn around and pass that stuff out for free to people who come in and need to work with stuff for free, kind of thing. And they get props and all this sort of stuff. But here's the cool thing. One of the guys last week who was there saw something and he grabbed it for me and he said, "Hey, do you want this?" He saw me this morning. He said, "Do you want this?" And I said, "Sure, what is it?"
What?
It is the Death Star Lego.
Oh, take it apart.
Yeah, well, it's actually in pieces. It was broken apart, but it was wrapped in plastic. So I had a brief look through. I think I'm missing a couple of pieces, but it's actually like the second Death Star, which apparently is really hard to
Ooh.
get. And
Cool.
I'm like, okay. And part of it is glued together, so I've got to figure out a way to kind of like re-piece together some of the stuff that's not all
Oh,
that's
you can
broken.
get all the
but-
booklet. You can get the build booklets online and just kind of like research it. Make sure you're
Yeah,
rebuilding it
I
correctly.
already did that. I
Yeah.
actually found the Well, I didn't drop it. Somebody else had dropped it. Obviously, it was used for a film shoot, and they didn't want it anymore. But that's like an
Oh,
expensive
gosh.
item. It's like holy crap! But
Yeah, you're like,
it's
hey.
it's at least 95%, 96% complete and all there. I think it's missing the
Nice.
laser, and there's no figures that come with it apparently of that particular set. But I was like,
That's
that's
cool,
kind of
though.
cool.
That's a
Yeah, I
good
know.
find.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to kind of reassemble.
You can just keep it broken, and it can be the broken pieces of the
Yeah.
of the Death Star.
It could be too.
Last
Yeah,
Little version
yeah,
up
yeah.
in
Just,
Rise
Jedi
of
or whatever.
just a pile of Lego and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
half of it's glued together, but like big chunks of it. This is part of the second like Death Star look how crazy all that is. It's like it's huge.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is kind of spun out. So
So it's the one that's like not complete, like
it's,
the one
it's
from Jedi.
Yeah, the incomplete Death Star. The whole centerpiece is right here.
That's crazy.
I
That's,
know. Yeah,
That's cool.
It's
Oh,
insane.
it got some connects
that's
pieces.
big.
Huh?
Yeah,
I gotta fly a ship through
it's
that.
humongous, huh? But yeah, so I got to figure out what is missing, what's there. I need to figure out whether I can actually get the pieces and stuff like that. But
E-Man,
Use the
what up?
Force.
hey there, E-Man, how's it going? Yeah, so that's kind of like my kind of cool thing that happened at least today, kind of thing, and you know, nothing much during the week. I've been kind of getting my taxes together and all that stuff, so that's been not fun. But yeah, there hasn't been as much news this week, but there has been some things I did find early this morning that dropped on news. So Dungeons and Dragons comes out in a couple of weeks' time, the film. And I've been kind of reluctant because the trailers haven't really done anything for me. But check this out. Rotten Tomatoes are giving it 100%.
How is that possible?
I
How
don't-
is that? Who saw this movie?
Wait, 9 people gave it the rating of 100%. So that's not a lot. But at the same
9
time,
people.
I know, but if you put 9 people in the movie
Yeah.
with any movie, it could be like The Godfather or anything.
there's going to be some sort of difference.
One person could be like, it was a 7 out of 10. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. the fact
100%.
that-
It's 100%.
I know, yeah. It's looks like
Imagine they
there's
just
gonna
showed it to the actors and they're like, what'd you guys think?
be- It was probably all the actors that saw it 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks
We
like it's
loved it.
2 hours and 14 minutes long. I'm kind of like, I saw a scene that dropped last week online, and I actually laughed at the scene. I thought it looked pretty funny. It looked pretty clever and smart. So it's like maybe they have got something to the way they deliver their lines and drop their lines and that sort of stuff.
Maybe it's
So
just a good movie
it could be a really good film. I mean,
based on those 9 people.
Yeah, based on
That's
those
more.
9
That's
people.
more than dentists approve for toothpaste.
Yeah, there
I
you
was
go.
just thinking
1
that.
out of 5.
Yeah.
4 out of 5. What is
Something
Like
like
1
that.
out of 5 dentists,
Yeah, yeah.
9 out of 10,
The
9 out
dent-
of
yeah.
9
approval.
screeners.
Yeah.
Dang.
But,
That movie's doing better than most toothpaste.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, Iman's looking forward to the D&D film. The main protagonist is a thief. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an interesting cast. It seems, I don't know,
I'm
like,
stoked.
outside of Chris Pine and who is the other lead?
Oh, Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle
No.
Rodriguez, the
No,
guy
it's-
from Bridgerton,
Hey Malloy, how's it going?
and the kid from
I was
Detective
think-
Pikachu.
I was thinking, oh really? Is that okay? So maybe I haven't seen some of those films, but I'm talking about the other one, the older guy,
Hugh
Grant. Hugh Grant.
I think he's only in a few
Yeah.
scenes. I don't know if he's going to be
probably.
in that much of the movie.
I don't
If
know.
I act
Yeah,
out for a
possibly.
day.
Yeah.
But his interviews with this film have been hilarious because he
Yeah.
just does not know what's going on, and he's just
Oh,
been
I'm
kind of.
sure.
He's not really shitting on the movie, but he's shitting on the idea of him being in the movie. He's just
Really?
like,
That's
yeah,
funny.
he's like, it's ridiculous. I don't know what
Maybe-
I'm doing. I don't know what
maybe-
I'm saying.
maybe
Give
they
me the
cut it
lines,
out.
and I say it, and I look
Really?
ridiculous.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, but he's like, it's just because he's Hugh Grant. He's not. He
Yeah,
does rom
yeah.
coms.
Maybe they
See,
use Hugh
I'm not-
Grant
I'm
as
not
like a Hugh
necessarily-
Grant,
yeah.
like putting
Yeah.
like Bill Murray in like Zombieland or
like-
something like that.
It's
Where
like
they're
when they
just, like,
got. It's like
he
when they
comes
got
out and he's
Patrick.
basically
Yeah.
playing himself.
It's like when they got Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart for the Emoji Movie.
Yeah,
He didn't know what the
yes, yeah.
hell he was doing.
Yeah.
He's like, it's
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, even though I know who Hugh Grant is, I've never been a huge fan of his work. So he seems a bit pompous. So maybe he is. I don't
You
know.
like Notting
Maybe
Hill?
not. I don't know.
Isn't that his thing?
And-
I never really watched.
Wait,
all
what
of it.
what Hugh
That's
Grant
fair.
movie have you watched?
Love
Cloud
Actually.
Cloud
no.
Atlas.
Cloud Atlas, I did see. Yes, I forgot he was in it. So
Oh, dude, he does like everyone does yellow face in that movie. Remember that?
Oh,
It's
really?
so
Oh
weird.
yeah, that movie is
Ah.
a little
Yeah.
weird watching today,
Yeah.
and it's long. It's a long movie.
oh god, it's
long.
boring as hell. It was boring. I
What?
remember that. But
Emoji.
anyway, I'm more invested.
Anchorman, you don't
in,
like that movie?
I am
In
more
college,
invested-
when the Emoji Movie came out, I made a group of people watch it multiple times to the point where my friend was inviting like a bunch of people over, and like 3 times in a row, right before they came over, I would just throw on the Emoji Movie and be like, "No, guys, I'm watching this. Like,
So back to
check it out."
in
Wow.
college, it was either that or Nymphomaniac.
That was the other thing I put on for people. But that was like,
Wow,
we-
Nymphomaniac.
I showed people who knew about it. And they're like, I want to see this crazy movie.
Probably.
Except my
Well-
roommate Theo, who walked in during The most crazy scene in part 2 and
Is
just
that?
kind of threw up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, totally, yeah.
Kind of threw up.
In case
We'll
missed
get
it.
a whole new mugshot for
Yeah.
that orc maiden.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched it for years, but yeah.
I apologize. It's
That's
not
fine.
that long. It's not as long as
But it is
Master
boring.
and Commander.
It was boring. Wait, Master and Commander wasn't that long, was it?
Wasn't that like 2?
I like Master
No, it
and
was-
Commander. I have no problem with
like 3
Cloud
hours?
Atlas.
3
I
hours
just,
Yeah.
the yellow face is weird. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying
Yeah.
about Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great concept. They pulled it off, but
Yeah.
that was weird making them Asian, dude.
Yeah.
TMNT. That's funny.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm actually now more invested in Dungeons and Dragons, the film, than I was like a week ago. So I'm kind of like, maybe I will check it out. So I'm curious. Speaking of dragons, House of the Dragon showrunner promises going to be 5 new dragons in season 2, which is kind of cool. I assume there'd be more. They kind of took one
Yeah.
out, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be more dragons. It's the House of Dragons. I think I
Yeah.
can't remember how many were in the book total, but at one point there was a
never read
decent amount of dragons.
Really? Yeah. We're still 2 years away, so it's kind of like one of those things. But
How do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
how do you
With
play
dice
Dungeons
and
and
an imagination.
yeah, a lot of imagination. It also helps to have a board and map. I used to
Help
play
to
this
have a
when I was a
good
teenager.
dungeon master.
Yeah, that
That's true. Yeah, I need that too.
yeah, because that can make or break it. And the other thing is that when you play that sort of game, it's like you have to be tongue in cheek. You have to be kind of willing to do stupid things. Sometimes you roll like all ones and you get a very low roll, which means you're going to fumble. But you're not just going to fumble. The dungeon master has to make it fun the way you fumble your roll.
Yeah,
and
it's
your
all at
attack
the
or your
integrity of the
defense.
dungeon master.
That's-
Well, it's also like about
Yeah,
how you learn your character too. Because if you don't learn how
Right.
your character whatsoever, you're not gonna have any fun. 'Cause it's gonna be
Oh,
you
totally.
sifting through rules the entire book
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it helps to know a little bit about how you're playing.
I used to always play like a dwarf fighter, and I'd have a massive battle axe always bigger than what I could carry. That was just me. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, House of the Dragon. We got some word on the Batman animated series by Bruce Timm this past
Oh
week.
yeah, I saw that.
Cape Crusader moves to Amazon with a 2-season order. Series by J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm. It was originally going up on HBO Max. It got itself dropped, but this is from the creator of the original Batman animated series, and I've been very invested for like 2 years now in seeing what would happen. So I was very disappointed to hear that it wasn't going to move forward.
There was that huge
But now it
purge, animation purge from HBO Max, and it was
Yeah.
like that was among it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because it definitely still won't fit into James Gunn's plan because I think he wants to
Yeah.
have a cohesive DC
I know,
anime
right.
universe, and this is already a Batman period piece within a Batman period
Yeah.
piece. It's not only taking place within a specific time, but taking place within a time in Batman's life. Which
Yeah.
was, I guess,
think that's
earlier
just-
than the animated show.
It's just a Batman thing, huh?
Yeah, but I
There's
mean,
always
Yeah.
like a separate Batman going on.
it had been in development for over 2 years, and at the time, I think all of us were kind of hoping that it would have been voiced by
Yeah.
Conroy, but that obviously never came to pass. And I thought they might have been further along with development at the time, but I'm guessing
They're saying Mark Hamill's never going to do the Joker again because of Bruce, because he's gone. Because
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you're never going to get the same voices.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Mark Hamill as a Joker either.
yeah. I mean, it's probably time to move on to do a new round. But I mean, I'll be curious to see what happens. I'm surprised that Warner Brothers would let that go to another company, to Amazon specifically. I was quite surprised.
I'm not. They're
Really?
going to be able to make money off the deal while it also not
I guess so.
interfering with their, with their brand. It's not
Makes
going to. People
sense.
aren't going to tune into it and be confused, thinking, "Am I going to see more of these characters in another show?"
And I guess the big thing is Warner Brothers don't have to pay the money up front for it anyway. at
Exactly.
this point.
It gets a
So,
lot of strain off their back while helping promote the Batman brand
Yeah,
overall.
makes sense. Yeah,
It's not the worst. It's not the worst idea.
But they have to share the streaming information of that. Well, I imagine they'll
Yeah.
have to share something within the streaming, but at the same time, it's like I'm glad it's moving forward. I mean, I really am stoked to see what Bruce Timm can bring back to the Batman's character again. So,
I mean, he hasn't been gone that long. He's done like movies like The Killing Joke, and
he's been doing all that, but still, yeah. Sorry.
I don't know.
It's not the animated series. It's not the same. It's not the same as the '90s animated series.
I think it's going to be missing something. Yeah, I think it's definitely. I want to know what he's going to be doing differently because it looks like a more gothic approach while also being a take on his way earlier years, but the bigger years and stuff.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it could be interesting, but I want to see how he differentiates it from all the other Batman stuff coming out right now.
Yeah. Friends of the channel, All New Nerds, have started doing reviews and reaction videos to the Batman animated series. A couple of them have seen them before, and one or two.
Oh, the original series.
The originals, yeah. So they're starting from the beginning and going through and dropping each episode, once every couple of weeks, kind of thing. So they've got a few to get through, of course, but it's like
I went back and watched those recently, and it was interesting to see that. Between the earlier episodes and later you get into the first season, it's like the animation obviously changes and in the second, third season, you're like, oh man, this animation is really kind of isn't that great in parts.
Yeah, once it switches to the new adventures of Batman and Robin, the show doesn't dive off a ledge writing wise. It just everything changes.
Oh yeah, the first season.
Yeah, the look of the style of the animation and everything. So I'm hoping that
they're like introducing
the costumes and the characterizations change.
Yeah. Totally. But either way, I'm curious to see what they do and how they do this new version, and see if it kind of feels that same vibe. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Batman that gives me that same vibe, and I haven't felt that since the movie of the Batman, and that's the first film that actually made me feel the same kind of vibes as the animated series, but in live action. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, I think we need to see some better DC villains. I think DC has such great, powerful villains. I think they're wasting a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I think Jacob's got a good point here about we need to see some cooler villains in DC overall, both animated and live action. I think they've been holding out on us.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Seeing a Vandal Savage, that'd be cool.
Well,
he's such a great villain. Vandal Savage.
He is an awesome character.
Yeah,
and the stuff they did with him in the animated series was amazing.
Oh yeah, what they did with him in this Justice League was so good.
I've always thought he has so much
character that stick around for a long time. It's interesting that they don't use him.
He's been around since a caveman. Think about all the plans he could have intertwined in history and just left there waiting to just do something crazy eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Did they ever do a comic on him just all the way through the time periods at all? Or
no, but that would honestly be like something I would love to see. That's like they've done. You've seen glimpses of him like recapped quickly, but they haven't done a long form like mini series of Vandal Savage history.
That's surprising because like he's been there since the caveman era, so it's like you would expect there to be an amazing intervention or interconnection with history.
Just him like Forrest Gumping his way through history.
Yeah,
the world history. Yeah. DC history. He is just like always there in the background.
They just did something like that with the Amazons, like a whole history retelling of the Amazon history. I love that he's going to do that with like Vandal Savage and him recapping not only his history but the history of DC's villains.
Just like how much he's impacted, like just how civilization has gone.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. And his way, just him seeing civilization develop over time and seeing the villains develop over time. It'd be like a reverse version of Alex Ross's and Kurt Busiek's The Marvels, where it's like a photographer capturing all the moments of Marvel history. It'd be like a villain witnessing the destruction of the Earth and the rebirth of it through the heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah. I haven't watched Young Justice season 4, but I love the first 2 seasons. The third season for me felt weird. It just it changed a bit of the dynamic that I liked about the first 2 seasons, but it sounds like they're not doing number 5 then. That sucks. The other thing that comes out this week, by the way, not that you guys care as much, but Superman and Lois does come out, but then the Gotham Knights also come out.
I am boycotting Gotham Knights, and I think everyone else should boycott it just for the reason that they're doing all these characters dirty. They're doing all these characters so dirty, and I feel bad for anyone who has to watch this show.
I want to watch the pilot. I want to watch the pilot just to see how bad it is.
Look at the reviews.
We need to watch the pilot and just see how. Oh, I haven't even looked.
I may or may not know someone who's seen it early, and they've given me a pretty detailed breakdown. And I almost threw my phone across the room. I was so mad. I was like, it sounds like it was written by someone who just hates Batman. It was like, what if I just took all these cool characters and took everything that was cool away from them, then also gave Batman a new son?
We got to do a reaction video to this now. I feel like I just need to see the pilot just to see how bad it really is.
Hard.
Well, the trailer, the behind the scenes, the trailer I saw about 6 months ago, it looked
they're
terrible.
using they have good characters that they're using. They're using like Harper Row, Stephanie Brown. Like, they're using like some actual cool Batman characters, and then they're also throwing in like Dula Dent and characters that even Batman fans just don't even like. So it's
really.
Yeah, I think this show is going to be. I'll react to it, but it might see me storm off camera.
So this whole show is a reach, huh?
Fair enough. Well, either way, I'm excited to see what they do
with Superman
and Lois third season. Well, but
I like Superman and Lois. So that show's
Superman Lois
good.
has been good. So I'm curious to see how they end it, because it's either going to end at the end of this season, or they may give it life into the following season, pending. But it sounds like they're going to probably cut it short by the end of season 3, since they've already kind of killed off the rest of the CW universe at this point. It seems like
wrapping it up, huh?
They're wrapping it up to reboot.
Mark Guggenheim, the creator of the Arrowverse, had some pretty harsh words about James Gunn not letting him in the writers' room and not inviting him into anything.
I did see that.
Did you see the James Gunn, the recent post with the Super Donner cut?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like maybe that's alluding to something, like at least staying in the world to his new script. I don't know.
Speculation's running rampant.
Yeah.
I think it's just research.
I'm sure it is. But like the feel of maybe it's just like he's like, okay, I'm going to the feel of Donner cut. Like, I'm hoping it's like Superman for all seasons type of like storyline.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. I do know that James Gunn liked the tone of what the Richard Donner films were like. It'd be nice to see that that tone brought back, because I personally love that tone too.
You've read that, Max, the Superman for all seasons?
Yeah.
That would be a perfect movie. I mean, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
And it gives you
that mixed with All-Star Superman. I think it's going to be
everything you need. Yeah. So I'm hoping it's something like that.
All right, so Brent and Max question: the AIM soldiers for Marvel and the Hive for DC, is both similar and different. I don't know who the AIM soldiers are.
So I actually don't remember who came first, but they both do have similar feels to it. I think Hive is like the Queen Bee, Mother Bee, Queen Bee. Yeah, Queen Bee, right? I can't remember.
Queen Bee, at least in the Young Justice series, yeah.
Yeah, and AIM is led by Monica Rappaccini and MODOK, and it's a whole corporation.
Oh, okay.
They operate a little differently. I would say they're similar only in science vibe and B theme alone.
Right.
Even though AIM doesn't really lean into the B theme as much, it's more the yellow suits and MODOK vibe. Well, everyone else's Queen Bee has like a little worker bees and all that.
Yeah.
Like the Monarch, Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do have similar feels.
Yeah,
I think that happens a lot with you could say that a lot with like a lot of DC and Marvel stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Well, Empire Magazine dropped it this week, and their first looks of Across the Spider-Verse, which there's much there. Yeah. But this one looks cool. Look at this. How cool is that artwork, guys?
That is just awesome.
That looks so insane.
Wow.
So
man, the kick. Wait a minute. Go back to that.
Yeah.
The foot kicking through the.
Spider-Gwen kicking in the face.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Ballerina boot.
Yeah. I am so hyped for this film. You've got no idea. They only showed a couple of images here, but it looks so freaking cool.
Was that it? Just those two images, or was there more?
Just the cover and those two images at this point. They may drop a few more during the week. This magazine gets released, I think, in the next week or two.
They need JJJ on staff to bring us more pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, where's J. Jonah Jameson to put these pictures online?
J. Jonah Jameson has never been more relatable in my life.
Yeah. And this is the second of 3 films, right? So Across the Spider-Verse and
it's part 1 and 2.
Yeah, what was the third one going to be called? I can't remember.
It's just Across the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they had
just doing part 1 and 2 for it.
That's cool. Well, either way, that's going to be like a couple of months away still.
Oh, nice. Well, you know some people.
Oh, yeah? That's cool. Yeah, the animation, like, I mean, the first film can't be beat for me. I loved everything on that first film. I'm excited to see what, I mean, from the trailer that we saw originally, we've got a couple of different styles of new animation in there that are coming in.
So the best comic book movies ever.
Yeah, it was. It was, in my opinion, the first film was that. I'm just, I'm hoping that the second film will stay up to that grade and support the franchise, because it's the only thing that Sony are doing right now that are kind of like it got me invested at this point.
Just wait till El Muerto.
To what?
El Muerto. It's the
Okay.
incoming Spider-Man villain movie based on the one-time Spider-Man villain with one appearance in one book ever.
Played by Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
The wrestler. The Macho.
Well, he wants to share some stuff, but he can't. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, you don't want to get anyone into trouble. But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean that's out later this year. This is actually, I'll be honest, that this and Indiana Jones are my two most anticipated films coming out this year.
Oh shit! I forgot about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's summer.
It went
June,
quiet
July?
again. Yeah, it's this summer. Yeah. It's going to be big. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for that as well. So, the other thing they dropped an image of, which Max, you might be able to kind of refer us to. This is from What If Season 2. They created a brand new
she's an all-new character. Kahori.
All-new character. Come on.
This is Kahori. She's an all-new character for the show.
I like the colors. I like the.
I only know this because I got it in the Marvel newsletter, because I guess it was leaked by someone online. So Marvel put it in their newsletter about who this character is, because everyone was calling her Echo, and everyone was saying it's different characters. Danny Moonstar. Everyone was saying this and that, but it's an all-new character, Kahori, who is, I think, Mohawk. And I think it's Marvel taking a step to try to increase their proper representation of Native American characters.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They have a few, but they're not represented too great. But yeah,
I'm fine with What If to be this lead into brand new characters as well. I mean, it seems like it's only, like, I know there's enough Marvel characters out there that they don't need to introduce new ones, but I am also really happy to see new characters that can be introduced for somebody like myself who is not up to date with all these characters that already exist. And
well, I mean, also people have to remember characters like a character like Harley Quinn debuted on an animated show too. So it's not, I think people should reserve judgment until they see it.
Sure, no, totally, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the biggest characters in DC.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
Silver Samurai debuted on SNL.
Really?
Yeah.
Silver Samurai?
The X-Men Silver Samurai debuted in an SNL skit. Really? Where they did a Marvel thing where they just brought the Marvel writers in to write stories, when they had characters just as X-Men, and they introduced a new character, Silver Samurai, who later joined the X-Men comics.
Huh.
Which era of SNL was that?
That was like Belushi era, right? Let me find.
Is that is that? There's only like one or two scenes I can even remember them doing like superhero things. There's one with when
well, they had like Ant-Man, the guy from SNL, like he's in the first Ant-Man movie driving a taxi.
Okay, some of the newer ones.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one with Margot Kidder, when Margot Kidder was on Saturday Night Live. They're like go to Superman, Superman's birthday, and like they go to like the apartment, and it's like the Hulk and Captain America and Spider-Man and Batman, and
I've never seen that skit.
Belushi is the Hulk, and he comes out of the toilet bathroom. He's like, "Oh, I'm going there."
Oh dear.
Anyways, but I don't remember that.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a tradition. I think they've. You could probably collect all the episodes where they mention like Marvel characters, because even after the Avengers and Jeremy Renner was hosting, they had to do all that.
So, keeping on the Marvel trail, Daredevil's had a lot of news that dropped this week. Lots of little things, little tidbits here. Starting off with, they're not bringing back some of the lead actors from the original Daredevil. So, I don't know if they're going to recast or they're just going to simply not include them in this new version that they're doing. But yeah, it seems like Eldon Henderson and Deborah Ann Wool are not returning as Foggy and Karen.
They're like, hey, what about our paychecks?
Oh man.
Yeah, they're
It's
mad.
weird.
Yeah.
They're upset. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
get my get someone on the phone for me. Why am I not casting this?
Yeah.
Give me another role.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I was around long enough to see her character come in. But Foggy, he never did anything for me in season 1, and I only watched season 1, granted. But I don't know if he becomes a lot stronger of a character in later seasons. But I didn't quite resonate with that particular character. That was just me.
It's just his Jimmy Olsen, you know.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like his Jimmy Olsen character. John Favreau played him in the Ben Affleck one.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, really? God,
There
I haven't seen that for years.
There was a cut line from No Way Home where he was gonna drop a little hint to that. He's like, I don't know, my memory's a little foggy.
Oh, really?
Like he was gonna
yeah.
slight nod to him
That's
playing.
funny.
Yeah, there's a video of that online now.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's cool. The other thing that they other thing they also dropped this week was Charlie Cox, Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. D'Onofrio, thank you. Are going to be featured characters in Echo, the series, which is going to be
Private Pile.
I don't know how I feel about that off the top. I mean, it seemed like Kingpin was going to be a certain crossover element to the Echo character, but I was kind of hoping to have seen Echo's character kind of sprawl off to be something, to give us something new without falling back on these characters. So the thing is that I'm guessing this show comes out before Daredevil does. So we're going to kind of get a real full, with the exception of She-Hulk, which we've already seen Daredevil, we're going to get a full kind of updated look at what Daredevil is in Echo, I'm going to guess first, right?
I mean, I think it's going to be. Sorry, you cut out there for a second. I think it's going to be a little backwards.
Really? In what
I
sense?
think Echo is going to influence Daredevil in reverse in the show. I don't think Echo is going to play a part of the Daredevil show, but I think the Daredevil show will influence Daredevil's decision to connect with Echo in the Echo show.
Okay, all right. But Echo comes out first or after? I
think
Echo
after, right?
Okay, all right. Maybe it did. Maybe they want to get Daredevil out first, just so they can actually.
That's filming right now in New York too.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I've seen that they've been posting signs on different streets and stuff like that, apparently, and locking off streets and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
I agree, Malloy. Kingpin's presence is required for my Marvel lore.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kingpin will be in both shows. I think Kingpin's going to be a major character going forward, and they're going to use him as a replacement Norman Osborn to just be the guy that does everything evil in New York.
Yeah. I mean, he's already they've successfully transitioned both of those characters into the Disney era.
Yeah.
So from Netflix to Disney MCU.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other news that they're bringing back is going to be
that's the big news.
John Berthel's returning as the Punisher, which is cool. I like him as an actor. I think he's great, and I still haven't seen the Punisher series.
Season 1 was good.
Yeah. Oh, there's more than one season.
Season 2, it's not
okay.
Season 2 happened.
All the Netflix series just started slipping, dude. After Iron Fist, they all kind of just.
Yeah, I stopped watching kind of after that.
Wet noodles.
Did they change showrunners?
The Defenders? They did the Defenders too, right?
They're just trying to save money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of cuts. I remember we were working on that one film with Lee. Remember Brent?
Yeah.
And one of the stunt guys just finished working for Iron Fist.
Oh, really?
And he was talking about how stressful it was and how little time they had. And it just, from what he was telling me, it sounded like a rush job. I mean, I didn't even watch it after hearing about that.
Really? Lloyd doesn't think you're correct there. He's saying that season 2 is pretty cool.
No, I'm not saying that.
I haven't given either one a chance, but yeah.
I'm just saying there's a lot of the other ones just kind of fell off.
Okay.
After Iron Fist.
Fair enough. One day I'm going to sit down and I just have to be in the right mode to sit and watch that amount of TV shows now. So,
I mean, they're doing it again with Daredevil. It's going to be an 18-episode season, but I think they want to make him the new cornerstone of the street level heroes because Daredevil has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
But now they have basically no street level heroes besides Spider-Man, and you need this kind of heroes for hire. You need the Daredevils, you need the Jessica Joneses, you need those New York based street level teams to take on things that aren't world ending threats.
Yeah. Well, I think it's still rumor at this point, but Jessica Jones, do we think we're going to see her back?
Kristen Ritter.
Kristen Ritter, yeah.
I hope so. She was great as Jessica Jones.
It
I want to
feels
see
like
her
we
and Luke
will.
Cage actually continue like a proper relationship. I want to see Luke Cage do more in terms of the universe. I would like to see Luke Cage as mayor. That would be cool.
That would be
What's
cool.
that? Yeah.
I'd like to see Luke Cage be the mayor of New York. That'd be interesting. Give him and Wilson Fisk some good screen time against each other.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then the other thing they mentioned too was they got their director for the first episode of Daredevil. He directed an episode of Dexter and a few other things. So, yeah, again, that's all moving forward. They're in production right now, which is kind of cool. So they're gonna get this stuff out. I hope they're not rushing it. That's what I'm a bit worried about.
Anchorman, I would not fight Luke Cage. Not only on a moral level, but on a physical level, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Hey there, Dylan. How you doing, buddy? Yeah. Hang on a second. Wait, Jacob. What's that question there? Are you going to get the vintage Naboo Mandalorian ship? It's not pre-order yet. It will when I see it. I absolutely will get that ship. Absolutely. Although
Which one? Who's making that?
Probably get.
Hasbro?
It'll be Hasbro.
Hasbro
It'll be
Labs?
the 3 3/4 size, I'm guessing. I'm sure they'll make a 3 3/4, and I'm sure they'll make a 6-inch size. But I'm still waiting on the Hot Toys 12-inch scale Naboo fighter because I've seen that in real life, and God, it looks gorgeous, right, Elijah?
I showed you they had the model kit now, and it's pretty decently sized. Like,
really?
You should build the model.
Oh yeah,
model kit
Yeah,
because cool. Then you could detail and age it and do anything you want to it. I mean, that model kit wasn't too expensive. I sent it to you, right?
That'd be awesome.
I've been holding off until I get my taxes figured out because I'm not spending any money right now.
Whatever. I'm not forcing you to buy anything. I'm just saying that would be a cool way to go of building it. Then whatever you could. Possibly...
I'm surprised you didn't do that yet.
But I wanted this huge, great big, and it's literally this like as longer than my arms are right now. The 6-inch one, but it's probably going to cost thousands of dollars, so it probably can't.
Yeah, so you make one for $65. Buy a kit for $65, and just whatever you put all your detail into it, or do all your own thing.
I've got the Hot Toys version of Cad Bane on pre-order. It comes out later this year, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, that is on pre-order for sure.
Do you like anyway, Book of Boba or like the animated series?
It's Book of Boba. Yeah. That's cool. Anyway, let's get back to this. Anyway, any other Daredevil news you guys have come up with or seen?
Actually, yes. Non-TV Daredevil related news, but for comic Daredevil news, Chip Zdarsky is leaving the Daredevil book with him and Marco Ciaccio. They're leaving the Daredevil book in August, and their run has been it's going to be a classic run. It's been just phenomenal. They've changed the way the Daredevil character operates and it's everyone should read it, but their run is coming to an end in August. They revealed this week.
Do we think that's going to tie into the current TV show version?
I think that Marvel is forcing them off the book because the show is going to come out, and they want. Right now, Daredevil is not in New York. He's doing some crazy stuff, fighting the Hand. Right now, he has an army of villains and other things to fight the Hand, and it's just nuts. I think they're going to get back to basics Daredevil before the show comes out. Unfortunately.
Gotcha. So they can tie it.
Also, Elektra's Daredevil 2 right now. There's 2 Daredevils.
Okay.
So that's been fun.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't even thought. I mean, they introduced Elektra, right? In the.
Yeah, she was there, kinda. Yeah, she died.
Okay.
She did the whole Elektra thing where she died.
Okay. All right. So maybe they can rebirth her too on this multiverse. Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, let's go to a bit of Star Wars news.
He went to prison because he accidentally killed a guy. That was in the Charles Soule run 3 years ago, and then he served his time.
Okay.
Kinda.
Anyway, jumping to Star Wars news, guys, for a little bit. So basically, a bit of a shake-up. Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins movies are shelved officially. Taika Waititi is looking into his own Star Wars film, and I don't know what that means.
A comedy?
He's going to star in it?
Yeah, apparently
I think he's just fighting for the
rift.
rights to. I think probably doesn't want him to star in it because he's a very silly person. And I think when he gets on camera, he gets a little sillier and looser.
Yeah, and he's
I think
even
they're
more
worried
sillier
after
than
Thor that they
Love
don't
and
want to
Thunder. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's weird that they've taken in these directors who have done something at what you'd consider their point, their peak kind of element, or close to their peak, and then they're given one step further and they kind of go downhill.
Yeah.
I think Taika definitely got a little too full of himself. He got a little too high in his own supply, and his movies just be really heartfelt. Like if you look at Boys or Hunt for the Wilder People,
right?
There used to be like a real message and a real point to his movies, and then I don't know, somewhere along the lines of Thor, he just got a little too cocky.
Is that for Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, but when
I mean, everyone called Thor Ragnarok the greatest superhero movie ever, which is a completely just baffling statement in my opinion. And
I thought that was the better of the Thor films. I enjoyed Ragnarok.
I love Ragnarok.
I know it's the best of the Thor films, but that's only three. That was only 3 movies. Like it's not that crazy of a bar.
Yeah, but it seems like when it comes to a genre series or film, and I'm referring to Marvel and Star Wars, there needs to be a certain amount of control as to keeping this tone, and they balance that tone beautifully in both. Well, and DC, of course. Wonder Woman had a balanced tone in the first one, except for the ending. We won't even get into that. But Patty Jenkins looked like she was going to be the next thing. But then she kind of lost it with Wonder Woman 2 when she was given a lot of free reign. And then you've got Taika Waititi, who was given a Mandalorian the end of season 1. He got to direct an episode, and I thought he did an amazing job with that episode. But there was also a certain amount of string pulling to keep him on a direction so he wouldn't veer off that. And we saw what happened between, Thor Ragnarok into Thor Love and Thunder, where he lost it. Or he went into
full control.
He had full control.
Well, that movie was like, I thought I will go out on a limb and say Ragnarok was worse than, or Love and Thunder, was worse than Wonder Woman 84. Because 84 at least tried to do a cohesive plot with meaningful character development that actually would work for the characters.
Yeah.
It tried to. It maybe didn't, but...
Yeah,
Love and Thunder was just kind of just shoehorning stuff all over the place, trying to do a bunch of different plots from the same very long comic book run.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so all over the place. I don't think it even really tried to give the character a proper arc. It just kind of shoved a kid at him at the end and was like, "That's development, right?"
It was a tonal mess.
Yeah. Wonder Woman 84, at least I thought knew what it was trying to be, even if it wasn't good. It knew what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
I thought Love and Thunder just wanted to be a comedy so hard, but also trying to talk about serious issues that I was dancing around the whole movie.
Yeah, Eddie's got this point here, and there has been a lot of rumor as to what happens with all these TV shows between Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew. Will they end up by getting a cinematic kind of, well, I wouldn't say finale because the story is never ending to a certain degree on the Star Wars universe, but will they get a cinematic build-up of characters onto the big screen? You think they will, but
I think they're working so hard behind this. Well, I think they're working so hard behind the scenes on trying to piece together a way to bring a lot of these characters that are going to be in their ultimate plan into one movie, into a cohesive thing. They know how much money it would make. It would be leaving money on the table to just do it on.
Can I see them doing it? Yes. Do I think they need to? No.
No, they don't need to, but it would be a smart business decision.
It would be
business. Make them money.
They have the vans already. It's like, they have people who would willing to be paid. I think if they have the villain already set up, they have Thrawn out there. I mean, I think if they're gonna do something big and epic, I think it's already kind of setting up to be that. It would already work.
What's our next scheduled Star Wars movie? Like, did those get canceled?
2025, we're back in with what's his name? No, that's gone.
That's cut. Rogue Squadron's dead.
I'm just trying to remember
you're catching up. Yeah.
But I'm just like, what is our next cinema? What is our next movie?
David David Lindelof is directing a Star Wars film that's coming out in 2025. They're already location scouting and pre-production for this film. We don't know anything about it. There is a lot of vibes and kind of rumor that it could be related around Rey from the Force Awakens kind of stuff era.
Rey Palpatine?
Rey Palpatine Skywalker?
She should have hyphened it. That would have been really funny.
This is going to be the movie where she goes back. She's like, I am a
Batman.
Palpatine after all. Screw the Skywalkers.
No,
The version of the evil Rey with the cool lightsaber comes true.
we don't know what this film's going to be about yet. There's a lot of rumor out there, and it seems like Disney might try to push it back into the sequel era again. But who knows? I mean,
we know nothing about our new Star Wars movie.
Let's put it this way, Elijah. In less than a month, Star Wars Celebration in Europe, in England, is going to be dropping a whole pile of news. Probably give us some details about some of this stuff. We might get production art if we're lucky, but who knows?
As of now, it's all TV shows. Dude.
Yeah, that's it. For now, it's all TV shows, but there is something on a feature film. Supposedly, several feature films are under development, but they're kind of being cautious now to talk about.
It's just funny thinking
stuff.
back, because a couple of years ago, like, man, what would it be like if we had a Star Wars TV show?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like all Star Wars.
I
TV
thought it as
shows.
a teenager, as a kid.
Now it's like, what would a Star Wars movie be like right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, God, what would a new Star Wars movie be like?
Exactly.
Like, I'm so used to the TV shows now.
Shows are such the norm right now.
Right.
Yeah.
No, totally. But yeah. And
there's been more television hours of Star Wars than movies at this point.
For sure.
Oh yeah, easily.
So speaking of celebration,
right? When they just say just even Andor itself had more hours than the original trilogy.
Well, season 2 is shooting of that now. The Acolyte actually is shooting as well, and they're shooting in a place. I forgot the name of the place. Damn it! It's a beautiful forest kind of place. But so speaking of celebration, just briefly, last year I went to Star Wars Celebration here in California, and they gave us these badges here. Which were kind of crappy, not so great. There were, it was. I think it's the planet. It's. It looks like it's.
It's like Navarro or
Navarro, yeah, but it's like
there.
it's very uncolorful, and we got those badges, and yet Star Wars Celebration in England are getting these badges.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Each of them are individual badges. You get picked. One of 20 different badges kind of thing.
They look like old school trading cards, like
yeah,
from the 90s, Star Wars Galaxy cards or whatever.
Look, my badge, England's badges. It's like
I can tell you're upset about your badge.
I'm a little upset about the colors of the badge. I was
all those characters, not one gonk.
It's like I paid for this Star Wars Celebration, and this badge is no celebration.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
this is where my money's going.
Am I going to Celebration this year? No, it's too expensive to fly over to England for me and all that sort of stuff.
Just not buy a hot toy for, just skip the next 2 hot toys.
It's more than that.
But I can't. The new one is so good.
It's more than that, though. Like, when the tickets did drop, America had a lot of trouble trying to get tickets. People I know tried to get tickets, and the system was so slow by the time it got through. It's the same as people across
all the time.
America.
It's just online ticket buying.
Yeah, online ticket buying. Depending on where it's coming from, it ends up by circulating harder in some areas. And for some reason, it was very hard for any Americans to get their tickets. They actually had to go through second dealers and stuff like that to eventually get tickets.
The black market.
The Star Wars black market, they had to
death sticks.
Yeah, so
celebration tickets.
It wasn't necessarily an easy purchase for people anyway in the first place. So that's fine. I mean, if it comes back here in 2024 or 2025, because they're skipping 2024. If it does come back here,
why would they skip 2024?
I don't know, but I think 2025 with this new film coming out, supposedly it's going to be another big thing. I'm not sure why they're doing it. I think they originally did it every 2 years. Now they're going back every 2 years because they missed out because of COVID. They missed out a year, so they actually jumped.
Okay. That makes sense.
Year, and they pushed
made
it
up a year. Made up a year.
Yeah,
because they didn't have one. Okay.
Yeah. So I think 2025 is the next one, and they'll announce it in England.
It's almost 2025 already. It's going to be
hopefully it's back in America. I might actually travel. If they don't do it in Anaheim again, then I might travel to wherever it goes. We'll see. We'll see. It's still going to be one of those kind of things. Try to get to. But yeah. Yeah. That's all I got on Celebration right now. Let's talk a little bit about the Bad Batch, just because I really love this episode. Rewatching it.
What's the Bad Batch? Is that like a bad batch of fruit, or?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm not you too, Elijah.
I'm just fucking with you. Because I haven't watched any of it. I know what it is, but this is going to be the point of the conversation where I play with Lorraine.
Yeah.
Come on, Lorraine.
Fair enough.
Go ahead. Well, you can talk about the Bad Batch.
Hey there, Chris.
Thanks for your permission, Elijah.
I really like this episode, and upon rewatching it, it was such a solid, dark episode. And yeah, Max did point out the reaction. It is a bit bipolar in the sense of what they're searching for. It's either very dark or it's very kind of light. But then the Clone Wars was also that too, and so was Rebels.
Yeah, but the Clone Wars had more of a story and going through the show. This feels like so much side quests, and then they do one main story mission, and they're just in like the deepest trenches of World War One, and then they just go on a side quest to the Bahamas after each time.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were talking about it earlier. They just ordered too many episodes, right? That's what it seems like.
Possibly.
Even if you order too many episodes, it feels like literally like 4 out of 5 episodes are filler.
Yeah, that's too many, dude. They didn't know what to do, so we need something that won't move us forward for like 5 episodes.
Yeah, I think that overall, I'd still like to see a more coherent.
There was an attempt on like a kind of an 2-episode arc with those slave kids, but then that was still kind of just like didn't really lead to anything.
Well, I mean, there's character development, that sort of stuff.
It's just Omega going across the galaxy, making new friends.
Yeah,
I think she's going to have a bigger purpose. From what I understand, the last couple of episodes are more of a continuation. Apparently, so apparently they're going to have more lead in to a continuing story arc rather than individual one-off episodes. And yeah, I do have a little problem with the one-off episodes within Star Wars, and then they not necessarily picking up on them a little bit, but you know, I'm
sure the kids love it. You know, it's like you want to see some racing, you want to see some new droids, and you want to see some comedy.
You want to see someone like this get shot, and they do get shot quite well.
That's what's so weird about it, though.
It wasn't a matter of if; it was a matter of when.
Exactly.
That's what feels so weird about it, is that so much of it feels like it's so directed at kids, and then like one in every 5 episodes is like kids will be horrified of this episode.
Doesn't want to know what it doesn't know what it needs to be.
The moment that Nolan turned up on screen, I wanted to see him die. Like I immediately wanted to see that, and I got my wish. I was happy. I was satisfied.
If you watch our reaction, I kept asking when he's gonna get shot.
Yeah,
he's gonna take care of this man.
No, I thought they did a very solid, like, it's, you know, he is a representation of what the Empire's attitude is towards the clones at this point in time, and only people like that are going to make their way through the ranks as part of the system. And we're seeing that, and we see that all the way through into A New Hope and everything like that. We see this element of you know, these arrogant a-holes who kind of make their way up the
Yeah. So what you're missing, Elijah, by not watching this is just another heavy-handed version of portraying what the movies already portray.
Blah blah blah. blah.
Brent doesn't want to hear any.
But there is some cool parallels. If you look at the parallels, like here with Crosshair, they had these great little interconnection weaves. You see this flying creature like a raptor over Crosshair.
Yeah, it's poetic, dude. It's like,
but then we also,
it rhymes.
Sorry, I was going to say though that when
it
in
rhymes.
the end of, it rhymes. But then on top of it, Vader in the end arc of the Clone Wars with Siege of Mandalore has this bird which is like Ahsoka's bird that flies around her. Is flying over the top of Vader, and again, same thing. It's like just this great little parallel things. But that's the one thing about Star Wars; they tend to always pull on the parallels and the recycling of everything. You know, it recycles into itself again in some form or some way. in representation. I liked it.
The circular logic, the Ouroboros that is Star Wars.
It goes up, down, and around. All good things.
Up, down.
Go with the flow.
Just a snake eating itself.
Yeah.
Is what the Star Wars franchise is.
Any other last thoughts on Bad Batch, guys? I mean, apart from the fact that I loved it and I thought it was a great episode. And
no, it's nice. I like seeing episodes like this. Like I've said before, it's like, seeing a dog ride a bike. You're like, oh, that's cute. It could do that.
Well, from what I understand, this week's episode has got a more of a continual arc that's going to tie off all these threads throughout the past season.
I mean,
it's not going to be another one-off.
This show could have worked better as an anthology. It seems like that's what they wanted to do, and they weren't allowed to. It feels like they're just kind of all over the place with different themes and ideas. And I kind of want them to see them stick with something for more than 3 episodes at a time.
I don't think they felt like they wanted to immediately repeat themselves in certain things. If you follow Commander Rex, I want to see that more than anything. But
I know, but that's what I mean. It's like if they want to do all this weird stuff, they could have done like an anthology, but instead they're doing something that's like a half anthology but also a running plot with only 2 episodes at a time, and then they skip to something completely different. I think it'd be more successful if they just picked one or the other, like straightforward plot going forward with one solid tone or an anthology series.
I think the other thing that doesn't help this show right now is that they waited forever. They put it off 3 times last year of delaying the release date, and then they've connected it closer to and on top of the Mandalorian, and because you got 2
great plans.
It's just like it's being drowned out.
Well, it's not like cake is going to replace the steak. You know what I mean?
No.
Like this is dessert, and we have like our meat and potatoes.
Oh, totally.
Like Mandalorian.
Now you're making me hungry, Jason. Thanks.
Well, it's almost like it feels like putting a cake next to a sandwich, or putting a steak next to a sandwich. If you're gonna go for the steak, you're not gonna go for the sandwich.
Yeah, in order to compete with each other, they need to be equal in some way, and I don't see that happening.
So what you're saying is you want to eat the sandwich first and then have the cake after. So this week we're going to be watching Bad Batch first and doing Mandalorian afterwards.
No. You eat the meat first and then you watch Bad Batch, just the dessert.
Fair enough.
Just empty calories,
It's empty calories. Okay. See, again, it's making me hungry. See, look, the chat is now hungry. See this? Great one, Jason. So let's jump on to...
That was a good point, though. I mean...
Oh, yeah, sure. And I agree. Let's jump on to Mandalorian. They first thing before we jump into the episode, they dropped this from last week, which is like poster art of the new.
Am I missing something? What's crispy by muffins?
I don't know. I thought these guys were awesome. Like I want action figure toys of these guys. Anyway,
muffins, yo.
See, Chris,
I'm sure they're making toys right now.
Oh, I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get tons of these guys.
Some Babu Fricks.
Yeah, but
wait, what are they called?
And little puppets or whatever at Disneyland.
Whatever, I forgot the name.
They're Fricks.
And oh god, I forgot the names off the top of my head. A mental block there.
They're Fricks.
Either way, it's kind of cool.
I got one right here.
There you go,
Babu Frick.
It's so guys, cute. I'm gonna jump through some of this artwork again, but again, just
it's so sick.
That thing was so freaking cool.
That was cool. That was one of the best. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that little droid.
So cool.
Had different bodies.
Just kept Russian dolling like it's like a droid riding inside a droid, but then that's a droid riding a droid itself.
Yeah, it turns out from what I heard, this thing is a practical that was on set. So they actually used almost a giant animatronic or puppet or something. I don't know. So there was a lot of it that was actually puppetry based, apparently, or even stop motion in some cases. So I can't wait to see some behind the scenes of how they put this thing together, because
it's the coolest thing I've seen in Star Wars in a while.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I just want to know what it is. Like, who was the original pilot? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
was it human at one point, or was it like?
Well, I mean, it goes off of the. Yeah, this crab mecha, I guess. I mean, it was a mixture of things. Like, I saw pieces of Imperial tech on that thing. There were pieces of Old Republic tech. There was pieces of
But it kind of reminded me of Grievous. Like, at one point, it was like, alive, like not like droid alive, but like human alive.
That's why they had to drain Amando's. By the way, we're talking spoilers of this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that thing was draining Mando's fluids.
Yeah, it's still
so
lived
it
on
could keep
organic
his
matter. It
eye
still needed blood.
lubricated. Yeah, it's still. And Grievous was the same way. I love that about the fact that it is a cybernetic creature at the end of the day. So
it kind of like the bulbous kind of structure on the back of the crab reminded of those Imperial drones.
Yes, yeah.
Probe droid.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Yeah, it was a bit of a probe
Looks
droid.
like a probe droid head,
see it there.
dude.
Yeah, you can see the. Yeah, and we saw those because we saw them in the scene when after Mandalore was bombed. We saw the scene in Book of Boba Fett where the Night of 1,000 Tears, where you saw like the K2 asteroids shooting around, but you saw a couple of Imperial probe droids which were a different shape than the probe bot from Empire.
Which is a
maybe
scene,
it was Mandalorian, and it
which was a scene
tech.
The scene you were talking about was stolen from Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind.
What?
There's like it's a Miyazaki film.
Oh, really? It
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I couldn't compare.
I mean, there's Star Wars just constantly grabs.
Well, no, of course, yeah, but then so does every other film. So it's like it's.
I know, but Star Wars is known
for sure.
doing that.
No, I know. I mean, Dave Filoni takes direct stuff out of those films too.
I'm not trying to argue here, Brent. I'm just saying something.
I know.
Jesus Christ!
I'm not arguing. I'm agreeing with you, Jason. I'm just excited.
This guy, I swear.
But anyway, some of the other artwork, we see some stuff there just
Mandalore.
In Mandalore on the
So
city.
there's been an argument going on this week about did Din fall or was he dragged into the water?
Okay, all right. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Let's get through the artwork just quickly here. Yeah,
those little dragon guys were kind of cute. Huh?
They were great. Yeah, that was
they're kind of adorable.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that for a second there, and these guys we'll talk about in a minute too. So, all right, let's get to the ending part. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Din walks off into the water, and suddenly he plummets down. And it's hard to determine whether he was pulled or whether he just fell through a fissure in the floor. And I personally believe he just simply dropped through a fissure that opened up under, a part of the earth had cracked under there and continued down. And he just.
I was hoping that he would strip all the way down except for the helmet.
That's yeah. So I was talking about when I showed the episode of Brandon. I was just like, is he gonna take everything off but the helmet?
He's just got like tidy whities on.
This Jones in the helmet.
What?
Elijah, you would totally wear like underwear that says "This is the way" on the back.
It's got little baby Grogu heads on it, like a Grogu pattern.
Elijah, what were your thoughts? Do you think Mando was pulled through Din Djarin, was pulled through by this creature, or do we think that he just simply fell through a fissure in the floor?
I would say it's probably falling through a fissure type thing. Like, didn't they do that earlier in the episode where he drops down like he's like he's like whatever. I can see it just be dropping down like, and you don't see where he's going.
Yeah, Max, what are your thoughts on
that? Pokemon. It does look like a Totodile, right, Malloy? Sorry. I'm just.
I have a theory. I think the Mythosaur did pull him down. I think. So right now he's the current wielder of the Darksaber, the current technical leader of Mandalore, but he doesn't want that position. It's not what he wants to be. I think he stepped in the water, and the Mythosaur kind of recognized him as a false leader and kind of tried to kill him, drive him down to the bottom. He's also technically not a real Mandalorian by not being of Mandalorian blood. Like, he's not from that planet. He's never technically divorced. Episode never been there before.
A Creed thing.
The Mythosaur.
I know, but I think the Mythosaur doesn't recognize it like that. I think
doesn't recognize
Mythosaur recognized Bo-Katan, which is why Bo-Katan was able to just kind of go and get him.
Okay.
And Mythosaur recognized Bo as the leader of the proper leader of Mandalore.
Right. Okay. Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he got grabbed by the thing.
Really?
We know now that like there's Mandalorians' baptisms have bad luck.
Yes,
not a Mythosaur, it's a giant alligator. Or
that's it. Let's compare it to that.
Like,
the opening of last week.
It's like, you guys gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But like, I think it grabbed him, dude.
Yeah.
Then you see it, and then he like realized, I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows what a Mythosaur does? Mythosaur definitely looked at Bo-Katan like with respect. I don't know why I felt that way, but it definitely was like looking at her and like, I'm not gonna mess her up. Like, she deserves to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I mean, isn't she the holder of the Darksaber now? That she beat that little mini Grievous. I mean, Grievous had it.
Technically, she should be, but they're not going to do that.
There is this element to the fact that Bo-Katan was the only one who saw the mythosaur. Because Din was unconscious. Like, he had water sucked into his thing. I think there's this big thing about what they've been going through the last few weeks about the whole idea. Put on your helmet, you can airtight it, etc., etc.
Well, he did that when he came out of the ship because of the
exactly, the atmosphere. But we never heard it when he went down because he wasn't planning on going into the water itself.
He was in the middle of talking.
He was in the middle of talking. Yeah, exactly. He had to. Yeah. But it didn't really matter. But he also had removed his backpack, his jetpack, everything like that. So when he went in, it was just, I think he just simply fell.
Well, the mythosaur was like, you're supposed to dress down to your chones, dude.
Yeah, but also on top of it, though, like, who's to say the mythosaur wasn't moving underwater and accidentally pulled him under a water, tunnel and sucked him through by accident?
Well, it's not a matter of how the mythosaur. I think the mythosaur just did it, right?
Maybe.
And who named the mythosaur, right? Like,
it was
somebody not trying very hard.
It was way back. It was way back.
Mythosaur.
It was way back.
Who named who named those things anyways, right? Like,
it was George Lucas probably. I mean, come on. This goes right back to
myth.
So
someone had to see it.
They're a myth, so they're a mythosaur.
Yeah, that's it. It's a mythosaur.
Well, it's a myth, so technically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Mythosaurus Rex.
We had this very cool moment of Bo-Katan getting the Darksaber and
doesn't that look just like the animated show? Like,
God,
wouldn't that fit in perfectly in the Clone Wars?
Oh, absolutely. I like the moment she grabbed this thing. Obviously, she's fighting with this thing like
Oh, she handles it well.
She's handled it well.
Doesn't weigh her down at all.
She did say that she's known many Jedi and this sort of stuff too. And you consider the fact the amount of Jedi she's crossed paths with. You literally have You literally have Obi-Wan Kenobi. You've got Ahsoka Tano. She was there with Ezra Bridger. So, in the sense of like training,
she knows Anakin too.
Yeah, she could have had some sort of training at some point, the same way that Sabine Wren had training on by Kanan with the Darksaber, just to work with it. But she obviously has had more training than Din Djarin. Was he still pulling his weight when he's trying to fight with that thing?
John didn't even know what Jedi were.
What's that?
He didn't even know what Jedi were in the first
exactly.
in the first season, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, even his race kind of considered Jedi like ancient enemy of the Mandalores, and
it shows that there's just some people in the Star Wars universe who are just uneducated.
Yeah,
so that's how I felt about it. It's like there was Jedi like all over your planet at one time.
Like, did you not go to college?
But remember, they never really stuck on Mandalore at that point. They kind of
they're in the same system. They're pretty close. They showed up close.
But
there was a lot of Jedi on Mandalore before. There was like not
educated
even the whole
people.
Siege. Like there was Maul and Sith there too. Like there was Palpatine doing crazy spins on Mandalore.
Educated people in that universe would know what Jedi were and stuff like that.
I just imagine all the Din and his people like fake news. Jedi don't exist. It's not real.
All those Imperial bootlickers being like,
"Oh,
Palpatine can't be a Sith.
That is a mythosaur.
He's the leader of the free galaxy."
Yeah, they've been talking about the mythosaur from the beginning of the series.
Not my emperor.
Of Mandalorian. So
#, not my emperor.
Fair enough.
The mythosaur kind of looked like a Jabberwocky, huh?
Yeah. Well, hang on. Wait, where's the image there? Wait,
I mean, you just gotta. Their reference was like a skull, I guess. Man, I didn't know they were that big. Did you think they were that big?
It was hard to get the idea of the scale, but the scale felt like
the only
Godzilla scale.
The only skull you ever see, is in Solo, really? Like in the live action?
Oh, the mythosaur?
Yeah, there's a mythosaur skull in Solo, isn't there? Like when he goes to meet Lando and they're like playing Sabacc.
Wow, you got your wires crossed. It was at the beginning of season 1 of Mandalorian. They actually had it above the what's her name's chamber into her where she was making the made the armor for Din Djarin. What's it called?
The Mandalorian, whatever builder,
The
armorer.
The armorer. Thank you. Oh my god, what I have a middle block there?
I was like watching you do.
Yes, sorry.
Brent struggle.
Sorry, don't watch me struggle. If you know it, bring it up, please.
I don't want to interrupt.
No. Yeah, but the armorer. Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your brain process.
No, my brain process is trying to look at the chat at the same time and just trying to keep eyes on things. Like, okay, also,
there's not one in Solo then. Did I get that wrong?
There's not. It was not in Solo. It was in season 1 of Mandalorian. Yeah. R5D4 we get to see kind of juiced up and everything like that. I want to show you guys something really cool. I'm gonna pull this up. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna find it.
R5 had so much personality this episode.
Yeah. Well, something I didn't know, and I only saw this after last night. The guys who do all the robots, McMaster robots, ended up by saying this is the first time they've had an R2 unit where they've actually where they've retracted the leg itself. Yeah, let me get rid of that.
Oh, where they actually had
retract,
like
on the in shot.
Yeah, they made a big point of showing that leg go down.
Yeah, sorry, I missed the beginning. Let me take it back to the beginning.
So that was McMaster robe. I saw them post that on Instagram.
Yeah.
They made a whole big deal of it. They showed that. They wanted to get that shot off of just the leg. Like, look what we did. The leg goes down now.
But it is the first time on camera that they've ever actually done the remote of the R2 unit having the leg pop out and actually land, and then have the robot take off itself, which I found fascinating. I hadn't even thought about that, but apparently, it's the first time.
I assumed it was CGI, to be honest. I thought they just added that in post.
Nah, that's all. That's practical. And these guys created it. I've been
crazy that
even in like isn't it in Star Wars? Like, there's shots of like R2s, like that was just either hand.
But then it's cut.
Not
then
on
it's
hydraulics,
cut.
or
but it pops down with R2. It pops down, but then
cut for a single shot of it going down.
Yeah, but for a single shot for it to come out, because
wouldn't it have been easy in the original trilogy to do that? If there was someone inside there that could have just put it down,
because there's no room. That was the thing. Even the remote control R2 unit, apparently it's very hard because everything is wide inside the unit. It doesn't leave room for a leg to be put down and continue on a motion.
If someone's in there, they could pull it up, right?
Well,
they didn't have the tech.
They didn't have the tech, but they did have a remote control R2-D2 that kept on falling over at the time. But they'd always cut between a close-up of it coming down.
They didn't have McMaster robots.
Yeah, but it's kind of fascinating. If you ever get the chance, check out McMaster robots on Instagram.
Friend of the show.
No, they're not friend of the shows, but they're really cool. They should be friend of the show because I met them at Celebration last year, and they are really cool people.
That's what I'm saying. Friends of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. But yeah, they really did a phenomenal job, and it didn't even. Other things in this week's episode, guys. Grogu, his force powers are getting stronger.
And he's learning to fly.
And we'll
navigate.
Leap. Nice big leaps. I think.
No, I meant like the stars. He's flying the stars. He's navigating.
Oh, fly! Oh, well, he didn't quite. I mean, come on. He kind
of R5.
He points to R5 and goes, "Here's where we need to go."
But that's the start of it. That's how we know that he's starting to navigate. He's gonna be a little Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Jump.
I think he's gonna be fine. I can't wait till Grogu gets his own little ship. Yeah. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to keep up with you guys, and it's like, there's so much. Yes, yay, Mythosar, absolutely. Mufasa? What? Mythosaur.
You missed that whole thing.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Grogu jump, yes.
Those jumps were great, the little Jedi flips.
Yeah, they were cool. I mean, just like the puppeteers are sitting there, they're just like doing this, making that sort of movement. It's like
I want them doing where they just throw them. They're like, let's just go, Grogu.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Jacob. So the Mythosaur's just been down there this whole time?
Yes.
Waiting.
That's why it's a myth.
It's been waiting. It's a myth, but at the same time, see, that's why it's like I feel like
it's a myth, but it exists.
Yeah, that's
There's
what
skulls
it only needs to eat every couple thousand years.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it felt like a fissure had cracked open big enough by the time that Mandalore was bombed, that it actually ended up by opening this crack right there, and he fell into it.
Brent needs a new YouTube channel called Brent. theories.
Brent theories?
Age of Grogu theories.
A segment.
Just going back to this
Brent's
thing again
theories.
because it was so cool. It was just so free.
I like how like punk rock that thing looks too.
Yeah. No, it was. I'm going to assume this was mostly CGI, but the actual
model at the Iggy Pop.
Model.
It could be like if a K2SO did like heroin.
Yeah.
It's like never once.
We're gonna make an Iggy Pop robot.
It does look like Iggy Pop. It's
I
got
don't
his
know
same energy.
If Iggy Pop was as skinny, look his little skinny little arms.
Okay.
It's got his energy, dude.
Yeah.
Just
his little
like that. Just kind of
rib cage
emaciated
going.
and.
It was still a very cool piece, though. I love the design of it.
It just opens up so much lore. Like just that creature alone opens up so much lore. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, I
like
agree.
what is that? What is its original form? You know.
I feel like we're gonna see a whole bunch of them eventually. They're gonna be like the X-Organics or something like that. Like they used to be like fully organic, now they're only partially organic, and they use like blood to synthesize instead of oil or something like that.
Right? Yeah, that's because he was like getting all that blood from Din. That kind of helped fuel him.
There is a backstory to General Grievous and the fact he was in organic form first, and of course he slowly had parts removed. And
that's what I'm excited about. Like what this guy was before.
But what if there's more of them on Mandalore that they were like former Mandalorians that had to survive like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's been there for a minute. I mean, look at all those like
you could have technically the lifespan of Mandalorians would allow him to survive since the everything went down in Mandalore.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, he also could have got mutated from the explosions and just added more parts. And we saw the same with Darth Maul. When Maul was returned, he was, only half the man he was before. But then he gathered parts and got the spider legs.
Temple Pilot song.
But we
half a man are you to breathe.
But
wait for Elijah. That was for you, dude.
The fact though is we haven't had anything to compare Grievous to.
Sorry.
No, Grievous was like a predecessor
to sing it before you
Vader
it, like no one was gonna
right.
Like,
go for it, Elijah.
No, and they made Grievous to kind of reflect what Vader is ultimately going to be, right?
Yeah, to a certain degree. Either way, we get to see.
That's what I heard. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the villains in the in the prequel trilogy.
Like it's nothing new, you know.
Of Anakin.
But we just haven't seen it that often, and when it comes up, it's really cool to see.
Not with the fact that was that made General Grievous. It's not like,
for sure.
I want to see the reverse. I want to see like a dark side person put their soul into a droid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Can they do that without any organics in there?
One of the other
creatures. The dark side. It's the pathway to many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That some consider unnatural.
So the other creature that we do get some backstory from Bo-Katan, that these creatures existed on Mandalore on the outskirts of the cities.
They're like the sand people of Mandalore.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of cool, but they also
what they are? They're those guys
indigenous.
They're like a Slee Stack.
No. You're thinking of the wrong thing. They're actually based off of the H.G. Wells Time Machine film. This is what they're actually based off of.
Yeah, the concept art really looked like that.
Yeah, which I think is what they were trying to do.
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, they're like almost
Morlocks.
Yeah, but they kind of feel like these guys. They got a little Slee Stack.
No,
Trandoshans. They have the same vibe as them.
No, Mac. Trandoshans are Slee Stacks, bro.
And by the way, that's from Land of the Lost. Where I was going with that, but for sure.
We already have Slee Stacks.
The big kind of clunky, practical suits.
I like this question. Will Grogu tame the Mythosaur? I don't think it'll be Grogu, and I don't think it'll be Din Djarin. I think it's going to be Bo-Katan who's going to end up by riding. I think we're going to see this arc happen. And I think she will become the new leader of Mandalore, rebirthed again because of whatever.
She definitely got hope this episode from Dim. Like she got a rebirth hope, and not just herself, but the idea of what Mandalore could be. And
she's been a cynic.
She had a spiritual experience seeing that thing. It looked like she had the spirit. Like even when she was reciting the words of on the plaque and everything, she wasn't quite
she wasn't into it. She was sarcastic.
She was watching
when Din went in the water and started reciting it. She
exactly. That's when she started to warm up to it. She's like, maybe it's not all bullshit.
Yeah. And I feel like this is
Kool-Aid
her
ain't that
chance.
sour, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this arc, this journey she goes on this season, because I think this season is going to be more about Bo-Katan's arc and regaining her leadership over any argument. Because originally I thought this is going to be a fight between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin about the Darksaber, and now I'm less thinking it's going to go that direction. And I feel like it's going to be more like a.
I think there still will be a fight at the end of the season between them for the Darksaber. But really? I think it's not. I don't think it's going to be a bloodthirsty fight. I think it's going to be a traditional kind of.
Well, it's going to be a fight
against like ceremonial, like hand-to-hand combat.
It's going to be a fight between her and the armorer.
But
dude, that'd be cool.
I feel like the armorer might become an enemy, but here's the thing.
She's going to be like the antagonist to
possibly. Possibly. But here's the thing. You even brought it up, Jason, in our reaction video the other night. Technically, Din Djarin was defeated by this creature here.
You call him Mini Grievous.
Mini Grievous. He was defeated by Mini Grievous. The saber tossed aside, and Bo-Katan came in, used the saber, and got it back and fought the creature that defeated it, and then saved Din Djarin. So
she would have technically had it then.
Technically, she should be the new leader of Mandalore again.
Yeah, but Din didn't see that. He was passed out, so he just grabbed the saber again and put it back on his belt.
He wasn't totally passed out in that point. He was just kind of hooked up to that. But he was up erect because he said behind you, remember? So he was awake and conscious. But I
don't think the show will ever acknowledge it. I think they're going to count it as it didn't count because
I don't know. We'll find out this week. The cool thing about this week's episode, guys,
it was mostly robot, so it didn't count in the first place.
Technicality,
but technicality is
I don't know. Percentage of its organics are kind of low.
So what you're saying is more machine now than monster, than man. Okay,
Mini Grievous was.
We will see.
The only organics we saw was his eyeball.
Yeah, but it was still an opponent that defeated the last owner of the.
But technically, that opponent didn't claim the Darksaber, so.
Yeah, he grabbed it and
good
threw
point
it on the
there.
ground.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I didn't even know he had it. Does it need to be an official
That's
duel?
what I was thinking afterwards. Like, if someone beats Din in a bar fight, do they own the Darks? Do they own Mandalore? Are they now?
Right? Yeah, they own Mandalore. Yes, but here's the thing.
but does it need to be stated as a duel for the saber, though?
Yeah.
I think if it was just a random bar fight,
Bo fighting for the where Bo's gonna I think Din. It's not gonna be like Din's gonna let her win, but they're just gonna have a hand-to-hand combat fight to prove that Bo is the leader of Mandalore or should be the leader of Mandalore.
He just lets her win because he doesn't.
I don't think he's gonna let her win. I think he's gonna put up as good of a fight as he can, but it's gonna show that Bo will fight harder to protect her people than
he wouldn't do that. I don't think that's the kind of thing he would do, and she would know it. The thing is, we still don't know how Bo-Katan lost the Darksaber to
Blackjack.
Gus.
Blackjack gone very wrong.
Yeah.
It's a really bad bluff.
Lose it to Gus Fring.
We don't know how she lost it in the first place, so I want to kind of see that, or at least learn more about how she lost it.
She left it at a bar.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But here's the thing: if she left it at a bar,
Gideon was just a stormtrooper
until he found the Darksaber and takes it off the table. He never defeated her in combat, which means that he still would have had to have fought her in some sort of combat to have lost the Darksaber in the first place. And we don't know what that means and how that happened. But Moff Gideon doesn't seem like he's a fighter, obviously, but I don't think he
won it by traditional means. I think he went in with a bunch of troopers and a bunch of starships, and I think he won it
the Empire way,
of course, and not in an unconventional way.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do get that story though. I mean, that'd be kind of.
I think so. When I saw Giancarlo Esposito at LA Comic Con, he alluded to stuff like that. He said we're going to learn a lot more about Moff this season.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. Because I want to see some backstory to Moff Gideon, because I feel like that might be the back half of the story too. Because I feel like that most of the stuff we've seen in the trailers might come to pass by episode 4, and then we may not have seen anything going on, or very little going on. Although the droid episode is supposed to be episode 5, apparently. It's written by Dave.
That's just one shot we saw in the trailer. We didn't see anything like crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think they just knew that was a really interesting shot that would get people talking.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. And then the last little bits I've got here is just one of the things I really enjoyed is that we saw Sundari, which is Mandalore City kind of thing, we saw these great just parallels between what it looked like in the animated Clone Wars to what it looked like, afterwards.
Yep, same place.
Same place, but I'm just like, it's just like, it's a beautiful city. Like, I love the design of the architecture of this entire city, and it still represents all the way through everything.
All the cubism buildings are really cool.
Yeah, even down to the tunnels. Like, we see the tunnels, and we see them going through the tunnels in that area as well, and that was all kind of, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I don't have too much more to kind of add to the episode, unless you guys think of anything that was that stood out specifically.
I mean,
you guys noticed
this dude alone was like the coolest thing I've seen in Star Wars.
The Baby Grievous.
That's like Baby Yoda. Baby Grievous.
Baby Grievous. But same time, yeah, it was a great episode. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this. I believe it's supposed to be 56 minutes long. Episode next week. It's going to be a long episode.
Well, we have a short episode of The Last of Us tonight. It's only like 37 minutes or something like
really?
that.
Oh,
whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah. Then, of course, we've got the Academy Awards. I'm curious to see if Everything Everywhere All at Once actually wins.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, but man,
yeah, that's going to be starting here in a couple hours.
What was that last week's episode of Last of Us? Holy crap. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even touch base on that. Yeah.
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 Christian cannibals.
Yeah, that was. I've seen that.
Oh no, Elijah, close your ears, earmuffs, Elijah.
Well, I just heard that much, but I'll have to watch the rest of the. I'll have to go. Whatever. I need to re-up on the HBO.
The other thing, did you guys end up by checking out History of the World Part 2?
Yeah,
yeah. It's some of it's good, some of it's all right.
I do agree. It started off strong for me.
Big fan of the first one. Big Mel Brooks fan.
I do like the Jack Rasputin. The Jack
Rasputin is so good.
At the beginning, it was.
It's always Rasputin talking about dying and stuff that's happened to him.
I thought it was clever at the beginning, but then I thought they dragged that story on too long. I think the biggest problem was
the runners dragged on too long. The
Civil
War dragged on too long.
Yeah, they could have finished that up in 2 episodes.
Dragged on too long.
Yeah,
a lot of it did, but there's just like little moments were really funny.
Yeah, there was some moments.
Like Waititi as Sigmund Freud was just hilarious, and he was doing a master class, and he kept doing fraudulent slips where instead of saying master class, he kept saying masturbate.
Yeah,
and it was
just even called him a what do you call him, a Sigmund slip?
Yeah, that was technically
that one was pretty good, but only because it was like a lot of good Sigmund Freud jokes just packed into like 2 minutes.
See you, Jacob. We're wrapping up here anyway.
It just felt like the Nick Kroll show.
Yeah, that's what I hated about it. It felt like bad Nick Kroll skits. Like
it was just like any other like sketch comedy that you'd see on like Comedy Central in the early 2000s. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
It didn't feel very Mel Brooks Borscht Belt humor.
Yeah, I liked it.
It started that way, but then within the end of the first episode, I started to see this like, okay, it's not
the one with Curb Your Enthusiasm or Curb Your Jesus, whatever it was. That was
Curb Your Judaism.
Yeah,
Curb Your Judaism.
That was good. I liked that, dude. Yeah. I like the whole like the Jesus stuff David? Was good.
What's that?
Larry David's in. He's in one bit, I think. Right?
Who's that?
Not. Maybe not.
Who's that? Sorry.
Okay.
Is Larry David in?
Well, he was saying Curb Your Judaism. I was just wondering if it was.
It was just based on like the show.
They have JB Smoove though as.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was expecting to see Larry David.
They also had what's his name? Richard oh my god, why can't I not remember his name?
Richard
Lewis
Belzer? Richard Lewis?
No, the guy that says I have Yaba in Scrubs.
What was he in?
Yeah, as a series, it worked in some parts. It didn't work in other parts. It definitely wasn't. It didn't hold as strong as what History of the World Part 1 was, for me. But it still had some humor in there that was like, okay, that was just damn funny and clever. But
Richard Kind.
Those moments were. Oh, Richard Kind. Oh yeah. Oh god, he's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, he was funny. He played himself basically.
Yeah. No, I think it's like it was. I think it was just the length of the time of the skits. Some of those skits could have lasted for a single episode and be done with, and popped up once or twice, and then be done with and moved on. Because there are so many other elements of historical.
Some of it's also not exactly history either.
Well, yeah.
I know the first movie wasn't pure history. They talked about the guy in religion and stuff like that.
No,
but
totally.
This some of it feels like the statue removal jokes. I'm like, it's not really history. It's just a vague sketch.
Yeah,
I liked that though.
Yeah,
I really liked
kind
that
of funny. And the ending was funny.
Because that's what happens. That's part of history.
Wasn't
dude.
really. It didn't.
Yeah. Anyway,
that holds a huge.
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be more take on history of the world.
Yeah, I like that. I like the was it Jack Black as Stalin?
Yeah, that was surprising to see Jack Black in it.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Jack Black in anything is good.
That skit also lasted too long. Because that lasted like 2 or 3 episodes, didn't it?
There was a lot of stuff. I mean, it's the same with like when you watch like the first history of the world too. Some of they do last a little longer than they could.
But we did end off kind of
they showed it on for a while.
Let's not talk about the last scene. Don't talk about the last scene though, but it is worth seeing just because of that.
I felt the same way about it as I did for the first one. You know, I'm just like, it's funny.
Yeah,
and it's not like
I miss I feel like the first one also had a lot of homages to just Hollywood in general. Like the Inquisition was like a whole.
It did, and then it had like a running joke through like the whole thing too. Like which this one kind of lacked.
Yeah.
Like like you didn't have the miracle, you know.
Yes, like Oh yeah.
Because that one kind of extended all of the skits and kind of just like there was something that connective tissue between all of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then it at the point we were just like, man, Nick Kroll's in every sketch, huh?
Him, Ike Barinholtz, and Wanda Sykes, the executive producers, and I think all three of them collectively are good individually. But I think together they're not the right people for this.
It's like if they had like your sketch comedy show between those three. That's what it seemed like, right?
Well, it's weird. I think they should have done people who more are Jewish-based humor. I know that sounds weird, but I think Mel Brooks is very his humor's always been very Borscht Belt, very influenced by Jewish humor and culture, and I feel like this is what that was missing a little bit.
I feel like he just he just gave them permission to do it, and they've been planning this.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
it was sad that he only did he took a few lines an episode of just an intro. He'd be like,
the intro,
like 90,
with the CG and with the
years
buff.
old.
Oh, that was great. That was really funny.
Yeah.
I wish they did more of that throughout the show because even though not just that specific, just jokes like that to make it feel like he was involved more because it just felt
he really just voiced over after the.
He's old.
Thing.
He worked a day.
He worked.
I know. He's 90 years old.
He's done his dues. He doesn't have to always be there.
They had him for a day,
but but it was still. I mean, what can you say? It's good to see that this man is still active and doing this sort of stuff, and it just does prove that comedy does help make you live longer. It seems in some cases.
I mean, look at him and Carl Reiner. Carl Reiner lived a very long time, and him and Mel Brooks were very close. They had dinner, I think, 3 times a week, something like that.
Yeah. How do you explain Kissinger still being alive then?
Behind the scenes, he has a really good.
I said for the most part, Jason. I said for the most part.
Nick Kroll as Kissinger is pretty funny though. Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine Kissinger just doing stand up in his free time? It's like that's the real reason.
Killinger.
Anyway, guys, we're coming to the end of the day, about an hour and a half in. So everybody out there, if you kind of stuck around this long, congratulations, you survived. If you have not already, please like and subscribe. We'll be talking about more stuff this coming week. We'll be on Jason's channel on Wednesday, on Twitch. And wait, is there actually an official name for your channel, Jason? Just Vogu, right?
Yeah, Vogu drawing session.
Vogu drawing session. That's it.
Much just turned to me and Max just ranting about the status quo.
They rant a lot, but they tend to rant a lot, but they do it very well. And then we'll be doing a reaction video to this week's Mandalorian episode. let's just say season 3, episode 3. I think it's episode 19 or something like that, or part 19. And we'll be also
19.
reacting to the Bad Batch, and and then we'll be talking about everything next Sunday again. So thank you out there for hanging out with us, and we shall catch you all later. And guys, thank you for joining us again.
Oh, and pick another target, a military target.
Wait, I didn't get there finished.